The edges are right. Okay. That sound o'clock.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our September Staff Senate meeting. Just FYI for those in the room and those listening online, we will have some additional senators be coming in. There was a fire alarm in the building and some senators are still making their way back up. Everyone is safe, everything is fine, but senators continue to trickle in. So again, welcome. Thank you to those of you who are joining online. Welcome to any of our guests who may be in the room with their physical presence. Just as a quick friendly reminder, our bylaws do only allow senators to speak during the meetings, but if there is something you would like to say, please feel free to work through your senator. I have been informed by our Secretary Hilson that we have a quorum and we can conduct the business of the day. The first thing on the agenda is the approval of the August minutes. Those have been inspected. Is there a motion to approve the August 2023 minutes? Senator McCord motion. Is there a second? Second. And Senator Lee seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed no. The ayes have it. All right, we are very privileged and excited to welcome to our staff Senate meeting Stacey Bradley, who is our University Organizational Excellence Officer. This is a new office, which I think will touch a lot of staff in this room and listening online, and has a real potential to really move the needle, particularly when it comes to staff's daily work and efficiency. And as a byproduct of that, will continue the mission and one of the goals of this body, which is to make this the best place to work possible. Before I turn it over to Stacey Bradley, I wanted to share one quick story that really embodies the staff mission at the university. If you weren't aware, the university development team, of which I'm a part of, was going through a very difficult time. And I think that everyone understood that. We lost our leader. There was a lot that needed to be done. And Stacey really, like many staff, entered into a space when there was a real need and really stabilized the ship. Stacey was the kind of person that we needed at that time. And I think this is just emblematic of what a lot of staff do, that they see a problem and whether or not they have a lot of pre-training in it, but they jump right in and become problem solvers. And that's exactly what Stacey Bradley did when Stacey served as interim vice president of development. The foundation that Stacey led allowed Michelle Dodenhoff, our current VP of development, to come in and hit the ground running. And that led to us having one of our most successful fundraising years we've had in recent memory. And without that work of having a stable leader, of having someone to come in and really dig deep into the details of our development shop and identify where we can come up and where those needs were, is what enabled us to have such a successful fundraising year. So, Stacey, thank you very much, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Tyson. I really appreciate that. It was actually very fun to work with the development team, a great group of people, and really exciting to see that all the amazing work that they've done over the last year or so. And really appreciate you all taking the time today. I know there are a lot of things you could have had on your agenda, but really appreciate you allowing me to come talk with you all. Excellent. All right. So I'm going to jump right in. Want to just spend a little bit of time with a quick overview, some improvement resources, talk about an improvement leader program we have, and give you some quick project updates. But then I also want to leave time if you all have questions. That's really important because there may be things that you're saying, oh, how does this work? Or how could I be part of X or Y? Want to make sure that we have time for that. So I'm going to start. Come on in. I'm going to start with the president's strategic priorities. These are familiar to you, I'm sure, at this point. Transforming service delivery and promoting operational excellence. That is exciting because that's going to permeate everything we do. One of the reasons that's so exciting is because it is transformational. It is not just our daily work, it is the accumulation of that daily work that then is going to lead to that transformation. And hopefully our office will be a catalyst for that in partnership with people like you. In terms of the focus of our office, we are really focused on user-friendly services, efficient processes, and effective use of resources. I think one of the most important things about our office is we are not a cost-cutting operation. So there are institutions that implemented organizational excellence or operational excellence as a way to cut costs so that they could identify pools of resources to then repurpose or reprioritize. We all know as an institution, we've done a lot of cost cutting already. Those cards have been played. We're now in the make the most effective use of the resources we have phase. And that's why we're here. And so time is one of those primary resources. And I think that is something that has really resonated regardless of who I've talked to over the last 9 months as our office has gotten up and running, is better valuing our time. Staff time, student time, faculty time, stakeholder time, and being able to repurpose that and reprioritize that for things that really add value. The services that we offer, and all this information is on our website. So if you want to take a perusal at it later, it's sc.edu excellence. Improvement project facilitation. So we are focused on those high impact cross-functional improvement opportunities, whether it's process improvement, you know, what you think of with a standard process, or whether it's resource optimization. So maybe it isn't a process, but there are a lot of services that maybe seem similar, or maybe customers are confused and a group wants to come together and say, okay, let's streamline this a little bit. Let's make more sense of it. Let's have some clarity around this for the benefit of customers. We want to help with that. And we also want to provide startup guidance. So maybe it's a project that's going to exist within an area. We want to make sure that you're in a position to set that up for success. And probably the most important is the skill building piece, right? If it's just us, just an office of 3 or 4 addressing those high impact opportunities, you know, however many we get to a year, that's not going to move the needle the way it is if we embed improvement skills and competencies within units. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in a couple of minutes. I do want to point out this matrix on the right-hand side, if that pointer works. This is really important. I don't know that we've really had an office before that was focused on organizational performance. I think as an institution, and I haven't met anybody yet who's really said, nah, I think you're off base here. As an institution, we are probably in this lower left quadrant sometimes in terms of our processes and our systems are more focused on compliance than perhaps they are focused on performance. And it's not that we don't want them to be focused on compliance, it's that balance. Like, yes, we could have 20 sign-offs on everything and probably be 99% compliant, but we'd never get it done. And so we have to find that balance with performance and say, okay, is this adding value? If yes, keep it. If no, subtractive improvement.
Can I stop you really quickly?
Yes.
We do not have sound online or visual. Sorry.
Looking at it right now. Go.
Okay, keep going.
Okay, sorry.
It'll still record.
In terms of approach, this is really important too. We don't swoop in and have findings and tell people, you know, here are our findings and our recommendations. We work with a team, and the team that's involved in the work identifies the opportunities for improvement, and they engage with our help with the users and the customers to get that feedback. If it's a process improvement project, they map the processes with our help. They identify the highest impact opportunities. There are plenty of things that an area could do, but what are those changes that are going to move the needle? That's what we want to focus on, and we want to do that with people. And of course, at the end of the day, we want those results, right? If people are going to invest the time, they want to see that they've saved the time, whether it's the process time that's improved, whether it's customer satisfaction, they've reduced the number of steps, they're able to repurpose their time for something else. That is all valuable. I do want to mention there's an advisory group of leaders that we've relied on from the beginning with representation deans, VPs, AVPs, really a great group that's provided some very helpful insight and advocacy so far. The other thing that group helped us do is think through our project selection criteria. And I want to focus on this for a minute because here's a place that you all can help us. There's impact and then there's readiness. There are a lot of things that could have impact, but if an area doesn't see the need for change, that's the readiness piece. And where you identify those opportunities and can talk to leaders and can highlight where it might be a pattern or something systemic, and it really is an opportunity to serve customers better, when that visibility is there, then it's very easy for us to partner with an area and come in and really help them and help the customers that they're serving. But that readiness has to be there. So a lot of times things surface and there hasn't been that visibility by the area to say, wait a minute, this really does matter to our customers. It's really important for them to know that. In terms of improvement resources, we have a starting point at our website. More will be developed over time. Tips and templates under the resources section. And then we have a quarterly newsletter. You can sign up for that, but the highlights from that newsletter are under the news section, and we'll post all of our project reports from all of our completed reports or completed projects on the site as well in that news section. Okay, I'm really excited about this. So we've started an improvement leader program, and I actually see somebody in the room, Jessica McCormick, who's in that program. When I talked about embedding improvement skills and competencies within units, that's what this is all about. And it's a learning and doing program. So I think a lot of times we have development programs and people go through the program and then they go back to their unit and it's like, well, maybe I have an opportunity to use it, maybe I don't. They have a certificate to hang on their wall, but are they really set up to do anything with it? We designed with the doing in mind. So the applicants came with 3 potential projects that their area head had signed off on already to say, yes, I want this person to help me with these improvement opportunities. And then they'll receive a few sessions, a core tool set, an improvement core tool set that they can use in their units, and they'll work on one of those projects and we'll coach them through facilitating that project. So the goal is that by the end of the year, we've said by March, this group of 13 improvement leaders will have those skills and competencies and a project that they've worked through with their unit, and then they'll be able to do that and great representation among this 13 across colleges and schools, academic units, administrative units, and even one from the Alumni Association. So I think it's really built out as best we could have hoped in terms of participants, and we're really excited to kick off tomorrow with the first session. I'm going to talk about projects for just a minute. One I'm going to highlight, and Kim Rose is here who worked on the purchasing improvement project. I'm really going to hit high points of this to focus on the key aspects. If you want to learn about the project itself, I would encourage you to go to our website and look under news and watch their presentation and see their full report. But I'm going to highlight a couple of pieces that would be relevant in any process improvement project. So the first thing is customer input. So they really went above and beyond here. They held 6 listening sessions. They put out a survey and heard from 161 people, understanding what works well and maybe what doesn't work as well. And then they mapped their processes. They mapped 6 different processes. There's a picture here of one of their processes. Bless you. And so they had that information. So in any project, we're going to have that. We're going to have input from customers, and then we're going to have that process mapping, and then any measures or metrics that serve as a baseline. So that initial information, so that as the group is assessing what changes to make, they have that intelligence and have that visibility. They developed a series of improvement actions that fall into these 6 buckets. And again, I would encourage you to take a look at their report. But a lot of really practical things. So a check sheet on what procurement method to use when, so that it's coming in with the right information for the right method. Really understanding a checklist of, okay, if it is a sole source, what do I need to include? Just very useful, practical improvements. They found with the sole sources that if they had to post to the South Carolina Business Opportunities, that was 5 days or 10 days that they were posting. And instead of letting them sit for those 5 or 10 days, they are now acting on them right away, because 99.9% of the time, there isn't an appeal, and they go ahead and move forward with that. So really trying to save time, and also trying to set their customers up for success on the front end. And there are a number of measures that they're taking, an action plan that they have, and they own that action plan. They have timelines, they have leads on each of the action items. And that's exciting, because then in 6 months, some of those expectations that they have will come to fruition from those actions. This is just a highlight, the highlights are there, project summary. If you don't have time to look at the whole action plan, there's a one-page summary. All projects will have that. So all projects will have a summary, all projects will have an action plan. Another project we have underway, academic financial planning optimization. So while the purchasing project was a process improvement project, and one of the things I should have said at the beginning of that was an ideal first project, because Venus Manigo brought it to us. She said, there are a lot of things that are surfacing. I have a lot of new people on my team. Really think it's an opportunity for us to take a step back and look at what we're doing and how we're doing it and how we can best serve our customers. And I think that's why that project is so successful, is because it was really led by that readiness within the unit, by that business partner. Similarly, with academic financial planning optimization, coming out of the provost's office and the CFO's office, they said, oh my goodness, we have a lot of financial planning systems. We have Anaplan, we have EAB Academic Performance Solutions, we have Carolina Analytics, we have PeopleSoft, we have the Finance Intranet, we have all these things. Which ones are the best for what purpose? And how can we really meet the user needs? How can we address not just the current needs, but plan for the future in the systems that do that best? And so we're hoping to wrap this one up by about the end of this month, with a lot of information about the systems, a lot of information about user needs, and then developing that into an action plan. What's next? From a project standpoint, I anticipate that it'll be these two. Student disability accommodations process, we're working with Sonia Badesha and the SDRC, Student Disability Resource Center, and Malloy in Office of Title IX and Civil Rights for this particular process. And then Annville in the graduate school has identified an opportunity for us to work with them on the graduate school application process. So these are both in the visioning phase of setting those projects up, but anticipate these will be our two next larger projects, and hoping that we can build in some of what I would call blitz projects, some small projects that we can knock out probably in about 4 days, where we gather a lot of that information on the front end, and then really work through a relatively efficient and streamlined series of sessions to look through that discovery, assess the opportunities, determine the possibilities, and build the action plan. So with that, that is all I have, and I would love to answer any questions you all have.
Bridget is curious, the student improvement leader program, for information for cohort program, how the in-person teachers will apply.
So we anticipate it will be a continuing program. So this year we basically put out a notification and application in June, and then the deadline was August 1. So I would anticipate a similar timeline for next year, such that it provides a window for people to be aware of it and to apply. And hopefully this year the word will get out. I think it was a lot of word of mouth this year. Again, as we have people who participate in it and hopefully have a fantastic experience, then there'll be a little bit more visibility. So would anticipate a similar timeline. Of course, we'll learn a lot from this year, so we will likely change things in terms of the design, but would expect that it would continue.
And just one other question. All the projects in sight on the website, or if the area is interested,
so we do have on the website a contact us. So if someone is interested in us facilitating a project, I'd also encourage you can reach out to me, just shoot me an email. I'm glad to discuss that. I would encourage anybody who's thinking about a project to have a conversation with the leadership within their area, because that really is key, is that there's that buy-in in terms of the change. But really either works well, either the contact us or emailing. We do not have the projects in flight out there. We really just put the information out there once there's some results, once there is an action plan. But that's something for us to think about as that pipeline grows. That's definitely something we can consider.
How do you determine which projects are taken off by your team?
So it's really going back to the selection criteria. What was interesting was I thought originally that it was going to be more of a ranking, on a scale from 1 to 10. And really what we found so far is that it tends to be a yes or no, that it's really almost like green light, red light. And we've been taking these to this leadership group to say, do you all also think there's a need in this space? And so far, the ones that we've identified as possibilities, they have said absolutely. So I think this pipeline management is going to be interesting for us as we go forward. And that's something that from an advice from other institutions standpoint, they said, okay, like this is going to seem easy at first, and then it's going to become pretty complex to narrow that funnel. So we want to keep an eye on that. We really want to stick to the criteria, but we also want to embed that capability within units so that that's a delivery space also.
Could you give an example of these projects, some of the larger scale projects like Burkett? What's the timeline on that? And then what's an example of a blitz project?
Yeah, so interestingly, and this is where I think in the first year, well, not just in the first year, but as a new office, we learn on everything we do. So with the purchasing project, that was a huge scope. I mean, it was purchasing processes. If we had to do that over again, we'd probably narrow in on a process or maybe 2 processes. But I think that was necessary because the question is which 2 and why? And so what they went through to really map all 6 of their processes, that was really valuable. And now they have that to work with moving forward. But that one was more of a 5 month. Academic financial planning optimization, that has also been relatively lengthy, similar, about a 5 month. Well, will be probably before it's done, maybe 4. Primarily because that had a lot of tentacles with all the different systems and the vendors and the contracts. What I'm hoping, getting to Tyson, your question about Blitz, is that we can have a few projects that are a little less big and gnarly in terms of the size that we can knock out. So one that's come to mind, well, I hate to even say because these are like conversations in the last week. So I'm maybe not going to say one that comes to mind because I absolutely do not want to say something that someone has discussed that they haven't even shared with their team yet. So let me back up. It might be something where we are in a position to gather a lot of baseline data and feedback on the front end, and then say, okay, we have a lot of that baseline data. So an area that says, oh yeah, we know what our process time is. Like we can track that. It's this, and we're looking to improve our process time for whatever it is. And here are the subject matter experts we would need to bring in, and, you know, can you help us facilitate it? I'm trying to think what I can. Like in one particular area, they've identified that, and I love this, that there are probably some actions that are lower risk in nature that they could delegate out to units, that they wouldn't have to manage and review centrally. And so we're talking about an opportunity, a project to identify what are those lower risk actions that they don't need to be held centrally. They don't need to create a bottleneck. They actually can be pushed out to units, and they can act on it without having to go all the way through a central approval process. So that would be the kind of thing that we could gather the information on relatively quickly. And they have some ideas about what those things are, but they want to make sure those are things that would matter to the users, to the people that they're engaging with.
How could this work moving forward where this is to like streamline processes and you said group, but situations where we're duplicating services and 15 versus there's multiple groups doing the same thing and they're all doing it individually. Is there a way that this could move forward to kind of consolidate different groups that are doing similar work on campus, but they're competing with each other and even not even knowing that they're doing the same work?
Yes, what you just described is a resource optimization project. That is exactly why we didn't just limit to process improvement, because there's so much of an opportunity in the better coordination of our work as one university rather than as individual areas, because whoever it is that's engaging with us, they don't view us as the office of this and the office of that and the department of whatever. We're the university, and they expect us to be clear about how they do whatever it is, and to not be bounced around and to not be confused. And within the areas, to your point, a lot of times we find that even people within the areas are like, well, I'm not even sure how that's different than what we do. And so when those leaders say, with the help of often customer feedback or stakeholder feedback, it's really time to clarify this. That's an opportunity. So yes, I think that's a perfect point. And as any large bureaucratic organization, we have a lot of opportunity for that. Yeah.
Thank you very
All
much.
right. Thank y'all. Really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you again to Stacey Bradley for joining us. I think this is we focus a lot on what we can do to make this the best place to work and make this the best place for employees. And of course, we talk a lot about pay, obviously, talk a lot about managers and who people report to, but also it's a goal of our group to make sure that people just aren't frustrated every day at work. And if we can make processes more efficient, if we can find ways to make it a more pleasant work experience from the daily grind, I think that's a positive. So I would encourage all of you in your meetings with your organizational unit heads, with your deans, to be thinking of, okay, is there something in our unit that Stacey's office might be able to help us with, whether it is one of those blitz projects or whether it's a long-term one. So I think that we've got a great relationship with Stacey and her office, and if you see areas of need, let's get those to the right folks so we can attempt to troubleshoot and make it a better place for all of us. So please take this information back and marinate on it and see if there's opportunities in your units. All right, moving on with updates from myself and exec. Since our last meeting, I have had several meetings with university leadership, including President Emeritus, Larry Thomas, Carolina Guardian, and Ed Walton. All those meetings have been quite productive. I've taken a number of the things that we discussed in our orientation that were priorities for us, a number of the issues that I've been able to sit in on several of the committee meetings and share with university leadership what our objectives are and where they can assist us. Obviously, with both President Emeritus and Caroline, retention was a hot topic. We have some exciting work from our committees, from exec on those topics. We'll continue to do that work. Caroline will be our speaker for the October Staff Senate meeting. We'll send out reminders on that, but please be thinking if there are issues that you'd specifically like for Carolina Guardian to address during that meeting, we'll certainly do that. Another topic that was discussed with both those folks is staff mental health. The president, Caroline, both understand the need for additional contemplation opportunity when it comes to staff mental health. One of the, I can share this, one of the things that we discussed was taking some of the best practices of the private sector and bringing that to USC. This came up in the Staff Policy and Wellbeing Committee about having some space on campus for staff to go for some, call it whatever you like, whether it's mental break, whether it's relaxation, whether it's just time to just sort of escape from everything. There are more to come on that, but that is a project currently in the works. Also, from at the direction of Carolina Guardian, the Office of Professional Development gave us a list of which you have a handout of all the courses with, most of us have dates with, all the courses that relate to some aspect of mental health. So one of the things that we've talked about is making sure that senators know, and then that we can communicate out to staff members what opportunities currently exist. So there are a number of courses via either the OPD or through our EAP, our Employee Assistance Program, or several other units. So please reflect on those, utilize those, and let's make sure that your constituents know about these as well. That attachment that you have will also be distributed to you after the meeting. The president, at our staff awards ceremony this past, or in 2023, our first one, his idea was to have a staff appreciation day. We discussed that. We are very excited to announce that has been approved. We are close to being able to finalize the date. It will be in May. We're very close, and as soon as that is finalized, we will get that established. For those of you who have heavy workloads with graduation or in early May, we are aware of that. We will make sure that we get through graduation, allow everyone to catch their breath, and then thank everyone for all their work, not just for graduation, but everything throughout the year. We did request of the president that we are excited about this opportunity, but we will need some funding. And so the president agreed, and at the leadership of our treasurer, Mary, and our past treasurer, Leslie, they are working together to create a budget along with the staff awards committee for this event. So more to come, but the biggest update is that it has been approved. We are nearing a date to solidify, and that things are moving in the right direction. That's really exciting. Also, another exciting thing that this group was especially involved with was the staff ombudsperson. We dropped in teams, but please be reminded that that position is now open. It is available for applicants. So if you know someone who would be a great staff ombudsperson, please encourage them to apply. That is active now, and something that a lot of work, a lot of energy, a lot of effort led by President James and others on the staff ombuds position is now, we are very close. Carolina Guardian is very supportive of this. Caroline knows how important it is, and so we will work efficiently and expeditiously to get the best person possible in that position and begin their work. All right, any questions? I'll have a few comments at the end of the meeting as well. Any questions on any of the topics that were just covered? All right, with that, we will jump right into our reports of committees. If our committee co-chairs would come down, take the mic, and issue their report, and we will start with the membership committee.
Hey everybody, Julia Hodge here, one of the co-chairs for the membership committee. Just wanted to give you a few updates. So we met, probably on the same day, but we did, Tuesday, August 15th, and we began discussions about reviewing current staff senate bylaws, just making sure we know what's in them and what we need to adhere to, as particularly, of course, as they pertain to membership. We also discussed current staff senator apportionment, so where our senators come from, how many from each unit, that kind of thing. And then also other university staff senate procedures. So we've gathered some information thanks to the previous committee as well as Jessica for gathering some information from other staff senates throughout SEC and some other peer and aspirant institutions and looking into what they do and what we might hear. Additionally, Bill and I, we now have access to the election system, so we're starting to familiarize ourselves with that. Jessica has been wonderful. She kind of went over the election system with us, making sure we know how it works, looking into the timeline of all of that, as well as the procedures, both for electing officers and the committee, officer committee, so executive committee, and then general elections for senators too. Just this week, we received a list of current senators, so all of you. So when you started, when you're going to roll off, looking into making sure we're prepared for upcoming elections. So this year, we will elect new officers as well as, I believe, 5 vacant seats. Hopefully no more, hopefully all of you stick around. But if for some reason we need to do some other elections, we will do that as well. So that's kind of where we are in the process, getting ready, because elections will be upon us before you know it. Next meeting will be Tuesday, September 19th at 2 p.m. on Teams. So anyone have membership questions? All right, I think I'll move on that. Next up. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thom Harman here for the Communications Committee. Michaela on today. Not a whole lot has changed this month. The big push for us right now, I think, is I think we mentioned last month we started sort of a campus-wide communications audit to figure out exactly how we talk to our staff members. You know, some of that is pretty streamlined already, but a lot of it isn't. So we really want to try to figure out the best way to get the information from this group out to everyone on campus. And we know that that's a little bit of an undertaking. So what we've done is we started a file. We started just within our committee, of course, with our members to cover a few areas to figure out how exactly we distribute information. And we're going to continue that probably sometime the next week or a few days. We're going to share that with the broader Senate body. To get everyone else's input, because we know there's all kinds of offices around here and a lot of buildings and stuff to cover. So we appreciate your help as we continue to build that out in the near future. Of course, we also mentioned last time a couple of things like templates and things like that we're going to work on in the future as well. The big push right now is that communications audit, figure out how you talk to people. That is about it for now. We met on the same day as almost everyone else last month, and we'll be doing the same next week as well. It'll be via Teams, I believe, at 9:30 on Tuesday. So if anybody would like to sit in, you're more than welcome, of course. And I believe that's about it for now. So thanks.
Thank you very much.
Hey, I'm Beth Herron, presenting for the Staff Policy and Wellbeing Committee. I don't have tons of new information. We've been lucky to have representatives from HR, both of our first 2 meetings. We've learned about the posting, which has now happened, of the ombudsman position, so that's really exciting. Jessica Cross provided us today with these cards that are about a mental health app It's free to USC students and staff and faculty. I'm going to leave these sitting up here. There's a QR code that you can log in. We've been talking a lot about mental health and well-being in our first committee meetings. And I imagine it's going to be a theme throughout the entire year. So please feel free to take these back to your units. Take one for yourself because you can post them and people can access the information with the QR code on the back. Our next committee meeting is we deviated from the Tuesday. We're doing Fridays, and it's going to be this Friday via Teams at 11 a.m. So I'm going to leave this up here at the smart table. Thank you.
About therapy assisted online. You may have heard it for students, but you can use it for staff too. So my name is Rebecca Christopher. I'm co-chair of the Professional Development Committee. So Tyson stole some of my thunder when talking about some of the professional development opportunities. So you have some of those related to staff mental health. Those you can sign up online. We are excited. We have established our charter. We've had many wonderful discussions. We'll be having Nicole Vaughn from the Organizational and Professional Development Office joining us on our September 19th committee meeting. So we're going to be asking questions to learn more about the office and how we can further their missions and goals through staff Senate advocacy and engagement. So we're looking forward to that and hopefully getting improvement in that full office present here for the larger staff Senate. As I mentioned, I would encourage you to look at those offerings about staff mental health, but there are so many other professional development opportunities that are available through the OPD's office. So there is also a learning registration system. Some of you may have registered for professional development training through that system before, but that system houses all continuing education offered through the Center for Teaching Excellence, or the CTE. What had previously been known as the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion is now the Office of Access and Opportunity. All their trainings are there, and the HR's OPD office. So if you have any questions about professional development opportunities that are upcoming, we can share those out as we go along each meeting. Thank you.
Hey, everybody else give you your pool tabs. I'm just joking. Leave them for after, but an example of what many people contributing little things can become. So please, we're going to do this all year. So if you've forgotten, because like all of us, it's been crazy, that's fine. Start today. Even if it's just a cup on the desk, on your desk. If your friends tailgate and do other things like that, or there might be more cans, Diet Cokes, then please encourage them to collect. So y'all, it's going to be awesome when we get to go on behalf of Staff Senate to deliver this to the Ron McDonald House at the end of the year, and we have this big container full of tabs. So that is our first update. And then,
and if you need any containers or any of the labels or anything, let us know. We have extra ones here. Our next update, Margie, she has sent out the form to most of you. If you are not able to access the links in there, let one of us know. But it's for our service Saturday that is going to be on October 28th. And so I believe Jessica sent an email on Monday. So there is a lot of information in there. But if you ever have any questions or anything about Service Saturday, just let one of us know. I'm really excited about that, to be able to do a group Service Saturday as senators.
and there's two parts to that. Margie's worked really hard on this. So when you click on it to RSVP, make sure you do the other part that's for campus. They need you to fill that information out as well. So you'll do the one that where we know you're coming, but you need to do their paperwork too. And then we also have our Richland one. The teacher touched on, was able to get the information for that. So we're gonna hold off on that, and like someone suggested, maybe do that a little bit later. And then our next meeting is Wednesday, September 20th.
Hi everyone, my name is Marissa and I am with the Bylaws Committee.
I don't remember the exact date of when we met, but it was during the week that we were supposed to meet. So something that we discussed was the opportunity or potential for Senator virtual attendance and voting, just due to the overall changing nature of the workplace. You know, having a lot of staff travel, having the opportunity for equal participation, that kind of thing. So overall, just like next steps, we try to send this information to the membership committee and the executive committee just to get like their feedback and their input on it. And then once we get that back from them, we will maybe reach out to you guys, get your feedback, your input, and then just see where it goes from there. So this is very like early stages brainstorming. That's where we're at. And then in today's meeting, we are going to be voting.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Bridget Leslie, Division of Information Technology. So the staff awards, wow, staff, y'all are doing excellent things. Our next meeting is September 20th at 10 a.m. And as Tyson already shared, we have great news. We're going to continue to share that great news with the committee and then work on the tentative budget for consideration. We are also working on a resolution for staff to have a staff day recognition through the legislature as well as here on campus. And that is our report. Are there any questions?
Thank you.
It's more just a thought. It would be cool if we could align those days with the appreciation day on campus with like a state recognition day, just because it would be one day. That would be cool. I don't know if that's possible.
Yes.
But it's a thought.
I think we're talking the same topic. It's intended to be the same day and all USC staff day in the Palmetto State.
I'm Chelsey Malloy, and for the staff fundraising committee, we have 2 members that are interested in joining. Yay! Our Quorum, I think that's something. There he is. And then Karl. Next step is to set a meeting for our committee, but I think we may wait until the vote today to see what happens with that. So until we get more, members. So if you're still interested, let me know if you're interested in joining. The staff day. But yeah, if you're interested, let me know.
Thank you to all our committee chairs for those updates, and thank you to all the committee members. Those really are kind of the lifeblood of the organization. That's where we receive a lot of the ideas, the initiatives, the important things we need to be working on. If you track back to the staff ombudsperson, if you track back to the origination of that idea, the origination of the staff awards program, the origination of the staff appreciation day, those all started in committees. So it's great to see those things come to fruition through the committee process. As Senator Alan Malloy mentioned, we do have a couple of votes today. The co-chair of the bylaws committee, Senator Bellon, here to introduce both of those, which if you recall, those were introduced in last month's meeting, which then, according to our bylaws, allow for us to vote on those today.
Okay, I've done this before, so this is good. So there are 2 committees that are currently ad hoc, the staff awards and the fundraising committee, and we are proposing that they become full committees and no longer ad hoc, so standing committees. And then the other one that we are voting on is there was currently no wording in our bylaws for if there is a senator tie with voting. And so we have added wording in there that if there is a tie, that there will be a runoff. And then if that proceeds to have another tie, then it will go to the senator with the most service to the university.
And just to remind everybody, since it's been a month since we met, just to but just to give everybody the specific wording on that, starting first with the committees. The awards committee will become the awards and recognition committee. And the purpose of the awards and recognition committee is to plan and implement the annual staff Senate award program, as well as consider and implement additional USC staff recognition opportunities. The committee will create opportunities to recognize and appreciate staff on the USC campus. And then the scholarship and fundraising committee, the scholarship and fundraising committee is responsible for soliciting philanthropic funds to support various staff Senate initiatives. Funds raised by this committee will be housed in the Staff Senate Educational Foundation account. And then for the other, it's amending Article 5 of the bylaws, which is election procedure. Section 2 under voting currently reads, in the case of a tie, the employee with a longer term of service to the university will be designated as the winner. And the bylaws committee recommended changing that or amending that to, in the event of a tie in the election of any senator, a runoff will be held between the tied candidates. This runoff will be held within 2 weeks of the stated deadline of the original voting. If the tie is not broken after the runoff, the candidate with the longer time of service to the university will be designated as the winner. And there was a similar provision in Article 5, Election Procedures, Section 4, Election of Officers. And we would like to amend, the bylaws committee would like that to be amended. In the event of a tie in the election of any officer, a runoff will be held between the tied candidates. This runoff will be held within 2 weeks of the stated deadline of the original voting. If the tie is not broken after the runoff, the candidate with the longer time of service to the university will be designated as the winner.
All right, so we'll take these one at a time. The first one that we'll take up is the voting on the ad hoc committees and make those permanent standing committees. So following Robert's Rules of Order, the first thing is for someone to, a senator to move that we adopt the amendment, which would create standing committees out of our current ad hoc committees.
Senator Leslie, I move that we take the ad hoc committees, standing committees for the awards and recognition and for the scholarship.
Senator Leslie's moved. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Alan Malloy. We're now in the discussion and debate period. Does anyone wish to debate the topic or ask any question of the amendment sponsors? Hearing none, then the question is on the adoption of the amendment. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. The second is the clarifying the election of officers in the event of a tie. Is there a motion to adopt the amendment as previously read by the parliamentarian? Senator Hodge. Senator Hodge moves adoption. Is there a second? Senator Denisi, seconded. Discussion or debate? Hearing none, then the question is on the adoption of the amendment. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
And we need the other Article 5, Section 2, which is for general senators.
Sorry, got ahead of myself.
Absolutely.
Thank you to our parliamentarian. Is there a motion to adopt what our parliamentarian previously read? I will try. Move, Senator Epps. So moved. Is there a second? Senator Chambers. Discussion or debate? Hearing none, the question is on the adoption. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes also have it. Chris, is there anything else that I have? Thank you very much. We do have one announcement. I know some other senators had some other topics, but I'll go to what's on the agenda here. The GIUFG collection. Give it up for good. Yes. Does someone want to mention that or have an announcement on that? Vice President Classione takes the stage.
Hey everyone, just wanted to share, give it up for good. We were partners and collaborating for volunteer with community projects last year in the spring. And so we had a final email sent to us to all the volunteers about the Give It Up for Good collection and the end of year with the amount of pounds, and it ended up being 32 tons of material that we saved from our landfills. We're able to align with the university's sustainability efforts, which was really incredible. So thank you to those in the past that have volunteered. This will definitely be something, yes! This will definitely be something that we will look forward to in the future as well. So please keep an eye out for any kind of volunteer efforts that are passed from our colleagues in university housing and sustainability, because they're the ones that help lead that effort in that way.
Thank you very much. Other announcements, Senator Doran. Go to the mic.
Hi, everybody. I have a question or a situation. Let me provide a little context. I talked with President Lusk about this. We know that retention of staff is very important, and it's a challenge everywhere. Just a little context about what happened to me. I lead a unit of 18, and we've had a 60% turnover in a space of 30 months. So we've had anywhere from 2 to 5 vacancies, which leads us to be in, as you would expect, constantly posting, constantly interviewing, constantly training, and trying to keep up with everything. So it is a challenge, which may or may not lead to the mental health app. But my question to the group would be, I think it would be important if we collected some information from the various colleges. There doesn't seem to be, to me, in my research, a consistency about how the distribution of workload or task is handled, meaning who does what when a person leaves, retires. I've had 3 retirements, and is the manager expected to do that workload? How is it distributed? I believe in my research that everybody does it different. It's come up to me that there is the question of compensation being secured for staff doing extra work or a full-time FTE's job is really, really coming to the forefront. And I don't have an answer for that. We handle it one way in the Moore School, but it may be different. And so I just bring this to the group as I feel that I was reflecting on this, a lot of reflection, and I said, we can't be the only ones in the university or the only college where this is happening. Let's get some data. We love data at the Moore School, and figure out maybe across the board if we can have some standards about that. I don't need to go into the fact that if faculty do extra work, they're compensated. That's a well-known fact, and it's just a challenge. And I'd like to urge us as this body to take this forward on the university level, gather information, present it to the powers that be, and see if we can move the needle on this and help our fellow staff members out. Thank you.
Senator Doran, I appreciate you sharing that. And if everyone would take some time within your units to learn about what exactly does occur when there is a void in your office, how is that work distributed? And then are there mechanisms, is there a policy, whether formal or informal, on compensation for additional work responsibilities? I will share that I did bring this up in meeting with Carolina Gardy. She's aware of the issue, understands the issue. One of the things that Caroline and I discussed was ensuring that all HR managers, whether you're in a college or in a unit, are aware of the state-approved and university-approved mechanisms, whether it be a one-time bonus, whether it be a temporary salary adjustment, whichever one fits in the instance. So Caroline is aware. We'll continue to work on that. But that was one of the outcomes of my discussion with Senator Doran, and then Caroline was ensuring that at the unit level, at the college level, HR directors knew what ability they did have. Now, we all know that every HR director may have certain authority within their unit. It may be the final decision maker is the dean, another unit head, but we wanted to make sure, at least at the base level, that the HR director knew all the available tools at their disposal to share with whoever is the final decision maker in that unit or college. So again, thank you to Senator Doran. Please, as you gather information, you can send it to myself, any member of exec, or Senator Doran, but we would as a group like to get a handle on some of these things. See a couple of hands. President James.
President Lusk. I just wanted to say, I believe in drawing from the talent of the body. I know we have HR folks in here who have a lot of experience and expertise. So I just want to say, if there is something that immediately comes to mind and you know, oh, this could be this or that could be because of that, let us know that too, so we're well aware and educated as we move forward. But I do think it's a wonderful effort. I just want to make sure that we're using the experience and the knowledge of our group, because I know y'all know how things work and why things work, and that way we can have a better path to navigate and advocate for some consistency.
And if I could just echo that, one of the things that I think the inaugural crop of senators would say one of the benefits of being part of this body is getting to know senators from across campus, but also finding experts in different areas of the campus. So please rely on each other. We are one team. And if someone at the College of Information and Communications can help someone at the Moore School, that's a win for the entire university, right? So please, if you encounter an issue, look on that Staff Senate roster or reach out to one of us. Say, hey, is there anyone on Staff Senate who would know about this? And we want to get you connected with the right folks. So please help each other and please utilize each other's expertise. A couple other hands. Treasurer Barry.
Just to echo the president things that I am an HR representative for Student Health Service for Shared Services and Division of Student Affairs and Academic Support. So if anyone needs any assistance, you can see me, but that's not wrong. No problem. So I am a representative for Staff Senate on the HR Benefits Committee. And I just wanted to bring to your attention that on September 26th, that will be the Health and Wellness Expo. That is
The former benefits fair.
right, exactly. Former benefits fair. It's from 8 to 2, I believe, are the hours. There's going to be 45 vendors there. It's going to be a campus walk. It's going to be a farmers market, giveaways from the various vendors that will be there. It's not just an opportunity for you to change your benefits. It's an opportunity for you to see what benefits USC has. So I strongly suggest that you stop by, participate, and see what USC has to offer.
Thank you very much. Thank you for serving on that committee. Just to reiterate to the senators and your constituents, that is not just if you're considering changing, a dental plan. There's all sorts of vendors. There's all sorts of information. It's been totally revamped. So if you've gone in the past and you thought it was not something that you wanted to spend your time on, give it another shot because it has totally changed. There's all sorts of individuals there and businesses. Our EAP, which we've talked a lot about, will be on site. So if you have utilized the EAP before, if you have constituents that have, or if you just want to learn more about the Employee Assistance Program, they will be on site as well. Senator Keller.
So I want to give an update that the athletic senators, we had some issues. We struggled with the roads that are near the Rice Athletic Facility. So we crafted an email together. We went out, took some pictures of the road. We had a lot of potholes. We had a drain that was like clogged. I felt like for like months. So we got together. We crafted an email. We first sent it to Coach Tanner, and then after we got the approval from Coach Tanner, we sent it to Representative Seth Rose, and he was able to get that taken care of for us. So we actually have some road work done, and it's still being done on the athletic side near the Rice Athletics Facility. So if you're ever over there, you can visit now. You don't have to worry about your potholes.
Yes. The 1300 block of Hayward Street is brand new. Come take a spin.
I have two updates for you as just announcements. So Family Weekend is upon us at the university. We have over 2,200 families coming, which is about 7,600 participants. So that is September 22nd to the 23rd. And check-in starts though on the 21st, which is a Thursday. So thank you for those that are volunteering, if you're helping during the workday. But if we just ask from the Division of Student Affairs and Academic Support, if you can please just be on the lookout for questionable like faces where they just don't know where they are, or not sure what's going on. There is a parent and family programs app that you could download on your phone just to have, if you download even now, and you can take it off your phone after Family Weekend's over. That's really where we guide families and we say, hey, there's these events going on, or where there's a map on there and information. We just want to make sure you all know and share that. So if your constituents are like, what's happening on campus? Why are there so many people? Well, it's Family Weekend. So we wanted to make sure you all knew that that was coming next week, which is wild to say. The Staff Senate side of me, for my role with you all with committees, is now that we have made these committees official, we have had some interest reach out to me, some of the senators in here, about switching committees or helping out on other committees. And so I will follow up with you all on that. If there's anyone else in here, especially if you're part of a bigger committee, please let me know, and I'll stay here after for a little bit. If you're interested in either the staff award and recognition or the scholarship and fundraising committee, just to be able to help out, because I am going to be looking at the apportionment and then resending out to the entire group, and I'll do it on Teams, the new breakdown of senators with the respective committees. So we want to make sure that we have representation everywhere. What questions can I help answer when it comes to committees? Because that'll be now on my top of the to-do with you all. Okay, well, if you have any questions, come see me after. Thank you.
Senator Harman.
It just occurred to me that this might be a good opportunity to let everybody know about some opportunities that we, as the Office of Communications and Marketing, offer every semester. We have a series of grant training classes that we do every semester. Basis from class that I help with. But they start at the end of this month. If you go to the Division of Communications and Marketing's website, you can find all the specific information. But I just want to let you know real quick. Show my age here. September 27th, we're doing one on brand overview. That covers the visuals, content, how we apply that to social and web. Basically goes over the brand platform, our visual identity, and our brand voice. We have one about the USC event calendar at 25 Live, how to reserve space and promote events. That's September 28th. We have one on feature writing on October 4th. October 11th, we have editorial on AP style that I co-lead with Rebecca Friedman in our office. We have one called Media 101 on October 18th. That's about the media. And putting your stories out there and how to do that. And then we have one, just a writing course called To the Point Style. It's like a real hands-on training where you learn about style that will help you create content and be concise and really effective when you start to talk to your constituents. So again, just go to our communications and marketing webpage if you're interested in any of that. We do offer them every semester, and especially if you're new or if you have other staff members who are new, this stuff really comes in handy. We try to update it every semester, so there's always something a little bit new. So even if it's been a few years, you might want to revisit some of those.
Can you email those to me when I send out the post-meeting briefing? We'll include those. Thank you for those updates. Any others? Any other announcements? Yes, okay. After this meeting, we'll be sending out a link. Carolina Guardian has asked staff senators a couple of questions, which you'll see in the survey, about some of the tangible and intangible benefits of working at the University of South Carolina. The survey will clearly illustrate the questions that we have for you, but this is not something we want you to disseminate to constituents. This was for senators to respond to. Feel free to ask others, but the responses we want to keep limited to senators, and that's just for data collection purposes. But feel free to ask colleagues, but we will send that out after today's meeting. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you, Secretary Hilson, for reminding me of that. I just want to close with one thing, which I kind of think speaks to the work that we do here. I went to undergrad at the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill. And I don't know if you're aware, you're probably aware that a few weeks ago, they had a shooting on campus. That was obviously a tragedy. There was one death, and it appears that it was not a random act of violence. And thankfully, more people were not hurt than were. But one of the things that, as it relates to employees at a university, there was a lot of social media input. There was a lot of comments from parents. And one of the things that really struck me in that incident is that as this shooting was occurring, as the alarms were going off, as people were being told to run, fight, hide, that the custodial staff at a number of these buildings, is there, but we'll continue.
Attention, please. The fire alarm system has been activated in this building. Please stop.
I'll share that story next time. Is there a motion to adjourn? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. See you on October the 10th.
That's what happened before. And then it went off like that.
The fire alarm system has been activated in this building. Please stop what you are doing. Go to the nearest exit and leave the building.